Ladies and gents, get ready this Christmas to raise your glass. On today's show, on the Just Bowl Show, I will be having an exclusive interview with one of our 4 acts coming for our upcoming Christmas show. Today I will be chatting with Calli Malpas, who is an incredible Pink tribute. So make sure you feel like a rock star this Christmas and get your tickets now. In today's interview, I do talk to Calli about her trials and tribulations, her origins, and also much more, including her newfound passion and her time as a tribute. There is so much more to come, so sit back, relax, and enjoy, and let's get on with the show. So sit back, relax, enjoy. Let's get into this. Also, tickets are available now, as I've just stated. Make sure to go get them, because this is one you don't want to miss. See you all this Christmas. Happy holidays, everybody. Ladies and gents, welcome back to the Just Mo Show. I'm your host with the most, Just Mo, and today I'm joined by one of the guests that we have for one of our upcoming shows, and what a hell of a show that it is, coming to the Cloud9 and the Lounge this December, this Christmas. Get ready, ladies and gents, because I am today joined by our amazing Pink tribute, Calli Malpas. Thank you ever so much, Calli, for taking the time at your busy schedule. We've had to reschedule this a couple of times because our schedules are very, very busy. But Calli here will be appearing with a few other acts on the night on December 7th with our incredible Christmas show, Here Come the Girls. So this is absolutely fantastic. I'm really looking forward to this because I feel like it's long overdue. It's very long overdue. But let's get rocking and rolling. So, Calli, my first question for you is, what is it that got you interested in becoming a tribute act?
Interesting. Okay, so thank you for having me first. It's very lovely. I'm really looking forward to this interview. It's been, like you say, this in itself has been a long time coming. But yeah, the tribute scene is a strange one. I mean, I've been a singer almost 25 years now. God, I'm old. But the tribute is still quite a new thing for me. And I got to a point where I said, okay, I'm either going to retire or I'm going to do something really kind of left field from what I've been doing. So retirement wasn't an option because I can't afford to eat if I retire. So I looked at doing the tribute stuff just purely because so many people had said that my natural kind of style of performing was quite similar to Pink anyway. She's awesome. Like I literally think she, aside from the music, as a human, I just think she's really, really cool. And I definitely relate to the stuff she sings about. So it was quite a natural progression, really. And yeah, it was just one of those, I did one show just to see if it would work. And just fell in love with it. It was just so much fun. You kind of get to put, I was going to say a different hat on, but that sounded really cliche, wearing a hat. You get to put a different hat on, kind of come out, be for me, it was just be a better version of myself, I guess, and do the stuff that I don't get to do in music as me, and come out with dancers and costumes and create this show around myself that that I just needed to kind of get myself interested in music again. I think like sometimes after that long of being a singer, it just became a little bit mundane. It was like the same thing over and over again. So yeah, just something different before I cash it all in and retire and get cats.
I mean, we'd all love to see the Amazing Pink tribute with who's a crazy cat lady. So I think that would be, I think that would fit very, very well. So my next question is, what was the reason that you decided on becoming, a tribute of Pink? What was the defining reason for you to go, do you know what, I'm going to be a tribute of Pink?
I think it's something I toyed with for a little while. It's really difficult because when you decide you're going to present yourself as an incarnation of somebody else who is, in my opinion, top of her game, it's they're big boots to fill. It's quite daunting because you have real avid followers, and it can go one of two ways. People can either be really supportive of it, or they can literally pick you apart for everything you're not. So I think I kind of had a conversation with my husband, and he was like, just do it. What's the worst that's going to happen? Just get on, just, put it to bed. You're only going to wonder what it would have been like if you don't. Absolutely. So, and I'm getting to the point in my career where I think it's really hard as a female in the music industry to stay relevant, especially, there's this whole haven't you made it thing. If you're not famous, you haven't made it, apparently. So which
is what I would say the biggest baloney that I've heard. Like,
I find it really
because
bizarre.
you're not famous doesn't mean you haven't made it in music.
Absolutely, and I think everybody's version of what they want from the music industry is very different. Fame is something that makes me feel quite sick, if I'm honest. Like, I couldn't think of anything worse than people knowing who I was walking down the street, and that doesn't appeal to me in the slightest. So it was never something I kind of was chasing anyway. But I think there's been a real change in live music over the last 10 years or so. I think going back as far as the smoking ban in venues, I went from performing 5 nights a week into packed venues to maybe, kind of doing 2 or 3 nights, and it, maybe a Friday night would be good, or maybe a Saturday night would be good. But it just, there was a real lack of audience. And I think that's just been compounded since lockdown as well. Everything has kind of changed. So for me, it was more about, okay, I want to be performing to people who, know what they're getting. They're not just kind of stumbling into a venue. There's a singer there, and they kind of, do they want it? Don't they want it? You're not totally sure. I'd rather be performing to people who know what they're getting. They're going to an event for live music. The nice thing is, generally, you're performing to people that like the artist you're performing as. So you're kind of on a winning streak already. You haven't got to win them over too much.
Yeah, it helps if they like the artist,
Absolutely, absolutely.
Because it'd be kind of struggles them if if you came and said, well, like, what's this?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I'm like, but that's what I always say. If you don't like something, and it's not really your sort of forte or your taste in music or whatever it may be, or whatever we do bring, if it's not your type or your thing or something that you like, just don't come. It's that simple. You just stay home, or go elsewhere too, because there's many other events that happen in Barrow, etc. throughout the year. So go to these other events that will pique your interest, or have the taste of music, or the style and the genre of music or the artist or style of artist that you like and enjoy, instead of forcing yourself to go to something that you're clearly not going to enjoy. Such as, our incredible Chubby Brown coming back to Barrow since I believe
Oh,
it was
I've heard, yeah.
2021, 2022.
But like you say, just because it's not for one person doesn't mean it's not for somebody else. So, and I think that's the same comedy and music, whatever art form, art in it, painting, you don't appeal to everyone. So that's fine. You don't have to, not everyone likes tea. Some people like coffee. So it's just, it is what it is. And I think if you get too caught up on that, it's quite easy to become, to think it's a personal thing, and it's just not. It's just people's preference,
Absolutely. I mean, everybody has, have preferences, and especially with music. So my third question for you is, what can the audience expect from you at the show?
If I knew that, it would be every show is so different for me, and I think I try not to plan it too much. I think if anybody's seen Pink perform live, she's quite spontaneous. It's kind of whatever happens on the night happens. Obviously there's there will be some degree of planning to it. I generally know what songs I'm going to sing in what order and that sort of thing. But in terms of the performance, it will depend on the audience. It will depend on the space that I'm given. It depends on, whether there's things I can hang off or not. It's literally, every show is very different for me. Sometimes I perform on my own. Sometimes I have dancers with me. Sometimes it's a live band environment. So because of that, every show has a slightly different element to it. And I like to think that the one thing that's consistent throughout is the energy. I think it's really important for me that I try and capture the energy that Pink brings to a show. Sadly, I don't often have high wires and silks and aerial acrobatics that I can do. Though it's not that I won't do it. It's most of the time the venues won't allow it. So I have to kind of work around what I'm given and what health and safety allows, while still maintaining that high energy that you would get from a Pink show, on a budget that is not quite hers. So we do our best with what we're given, I guess. But yeah, I think for me it's the most important thing is bringing the energy and trying to be as true to what I see her performance as, which is it's just kind of from the heart. You can tell when you watch Pink live that she believes all the songs that she sings. It's always written about an experience that she's been through, and she conveys that, and I think brings the audience into that. They buy into her as a person rather than the glitz and glam of a show. And I would hope I try and bring as much of that as I can, whilst trying to sing okay. That's that she's a phenomenal vocalist. So
absolutely, I've never had the opportunity to see or hear Pink live, but I've heard from other people that have seen Pink live, and they've said nothing but high praises, and gone, she puts on an absolute show. Her vocals are phenomenal.
Yeah.
You think that she's not going to sound like she does on the the studio sort of recordings of what she releases, but it's very, very damn near close, if not pretty much identical,
isn't it? I think
absolutely.
To be a singer, and especially at that level, you've got to be able to deliver what you say you deliver. And I've been to a few shows over the years, and I'm not going to say which artists they were, but you arrive and they're lip syncing, and it's just like, this is your craft, and it's you kind of you have a responsibility, I think, to.
Oh my gosh, Ashley, oh my god! That's the tea. Oh my god!
Don't be fast, just get down.
to people that come and watch you to deliver what they expect from you as an artist. And it always baffles me really when you have such huge names that aren't singing live at their own concerts. It's like, this is crazy. It makes no sense to me at all.
Yeah, it's
And
very
I
odd.
could understand it with Pink, because she's flying through the air and, she's doing all the aerial stuff and the dance routines. You could kind of understand if she didn't sing live because of all the other stuff she's doing, but she always does, and she's damn near flawless most of the time. So yeah, huge boots to to try and step into. I must be
Very,
mental.
very big, because you'll probably start panicking, going, because you're like,
I will be in the gym running on the treadmill singing. The people in the gym think I'm nuts, but you have to be
the crazy cat lady's gone. She's at it again.
She's off again. But yeah, you have to train your voice to be able to work under that sort of demand. So, and I don't do half of what she does. So at the end of every show I do, I kind of come off and go, how does she do this with all of the other stuff that she has to contend with? She's a force. I don't think she gets enough recognition. I really don't.
Wow. I mean, I do think that. I think that there are some artists still today that don't get the recognition that they deserve for being incredibly talented and actually still performing and singing live, because not many artists do it today. But when it comes to performing, are you excited to perform in Barrow for the first time?
I can't wait. I cannot wait. It's a little bit more northern than I normally tread. I'm not going to lie.
Very northern. It's very northern.
I'm kind of southeast, so when Eddie first got in touch, I was like, well, "This is a trek."
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be such a fun night, to have the other two girls on the bill as well. And I know both of them. Or the tribute market is a very niche thing. We kind of all, even if we've not met, our paths have crossed on social media and that sort of thing. So it's actually really nice when you get to perform on the same bill as somebody that you've been chatting to online and stuff. And it's a really nice environment. I find everyone is so supportive of each other in this industry, which I didn't have outside of the tribute life. It's generally you're all kind of fighting for the same work when you're performing as yourself. Whereas you go into the tribute world and there's another few tributes doing the same person as you, which obviously you're all going for the same work. But if somebody's performing as somebody else, then there's no competition. So it's actually a really nice community. Everyone's kind of putting each other forward for different roles, and I'm on this bill, let me see if I can get you on it as well. And it's just been lovely. I've made a lot of friends within the tribute industry that it just wouldn't happen outside of that world. So it's a strange little microcosm. when you get into the tribute world, it's like a whole nother life. It's really cute. I like it.
Wow. So I mean, I've heard from other tributes that it's quite it's quite a unified sort of area and category, especially within the music industry, is tribute work. Even if you do have competition from others that are these tributes of the same act yourself, they're still fairly supportive and whatnot. Although they want the same work, they're still supportive and whatnot. And if they miss out, somebody else gets it, they go, "Oh, congrats, well done."
Yeah.
So I've been told by a couple of the other tributes that we have had that it is quite a supportive let's say subject and whatnot or category in the music industry. So when it comes to venues, as you said, Pink's been in many venues, such as incredible venues where she's able to zip line and be all over the spot in the air. What's the biggest venue you've performed in?
As a tribute.
Just either just as a tribute or just as a whole.
So it's a weird one. I don't really look at the size of the venue, because you can perform in a huge venue that's empty. So, and it doesn't really carry any weight. So I think for me, this year has really been my first year as Pink tribute. So I'm very much still getting my name out and getting people to be to know what it is that I'm doing. I've got some really exciting stuff in the diary for next year, which was always the case. This year was about kind of planting seeds and, you know, getting my team together with the dancers and the bands and that sort of thing. Next year is definitely about the execution. So I've had some great opportunities, like even just this week. I mean, I came back from, where have I been? I was in Cyprus performing on Sunday last week, and then flew out to Greece on Thursday, to Crete, and did a show out there. So in a week I've done 2 different countries, and then came back to England and was straight into a Pink show yesterday. So that's amazing, like the travelling and the, you know, the different venues that I'm being offered as a tribute is great. But I think the highlight career-wise for me was when we had the Olympics over here. I did a performance as myself. I play a bit of guitar as well, really, really badly, but enough to get by. And they had me up on top of the roof of a building as the Olympic torch came past, and there was just crowds and crowds of people. Obviously, they were cheering the torch on, and I performed for that. And I think that's definitely one of the moments that will stick for me. It was like, oh, this is cool, you know.
that's a very, very big crowd.
Absolutely,
a
yeah.
very big audience. Is the Olympic Stadium and whatnot. It's a very, very big venue.
Yeah, it's cool.
Wow. So, as you stated, next year you've got some great things. Like, you know, this year has been, you know, Avengers Assemble in a manner of sense. You know,
Absolutely,
you
yeah.
are assembling the team, you are assembling the unit to make sure that next year goes off, you know, without a hitch, and it's just keep on rising.
Absolutely.
So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Retiring.
Is that hopefully I've got, you know, I'm settled down with me cats.
We laugh, but I think there's definitely a shelf life in the music industry for women, and I think you have to know when to cash your chips in. So I'm being very aware of that. I'm very lucky in as much as I've picked a tribute who is a very similar age to me. So realistically, as long as Pink's doing it, I kind of get away with it. As long as I try not to, you know, kill myself in the process. I'm having a great time with it. It's such good fun. It's such a high energy show. The dancers are fantastic. They kind of lift it again. I love performing with live bands, so that, you know, there's so much to enjoy about it. But I think 5 years for me, I'd like to be in a position where I don't want to be working as much, but I wouldn't like to have completely shut the door on performing.
Just sort of, you know, in and out, here and there.
Yeah, I mean, last year I did nearly 300 shows last year.
Oh wow!
Which it's horrible. It's a lot of work, and
300 shows. We've literally done almost a full year's worth of shows, like literally. You've literally done pretty much a whole year's worth of.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm very grateful. I mean, I don't want to sound ungrateful. I'm hugely grateful to all the opportunities that present themselves, and to I have a lot of regular bookings as well, and people that I've been working for 20 years, you know, and I'm still working for them. So I love that I've been able to kind of build relationships with people along the way. In that sense, it's been wonderful. But as you get older, you don't bounce back quite as quickly, you know. So 300 shows takes its toll, and it's tiring, and there's very little time for anything else, you know. And building a tribute show has been just my entire life has had to go on hold to do it. You know, there's so much that goes into it. You know, the costumes and the staging and the videography that goes on your walls behind you, and choreography from it. You know, and all of a sudden I've kind of had to learn all these new skills to make this happen. So what I'm hoping is that within 5 years it will have got to a point where I have a product that I can look at and go, yep, I'm happy with that. I don't think it needs too much tweaking. What will then happen is she'll do a new tour, change all her costumes, change all her songs, and I'll have to start again.
If she releases a brand new album next year, you're like,
which is generally what happens. But it's great because it keeps it fresh, it keeps it interesting. But I have to accept that, you know, in 5 years' time, I'll be pushing towards 50, and that may be time to take your foot off the gas a little bit. Who knows? I mean, at the moment, I didn't expect to be relaunching a career at this stage in my life, which is what I'm doing. So you just can't call it. It could, you know, who knows? It would be nice to have met Pink by then. I'm not going to lie. That's going to be one of the bucket list.
We'll have to reach out to her. Won't we? Just be like, hey, you know, Calli wants to meet you.
Absolutely.
She wants to meet, yes.
She changed my life, so yeah.
This crazy cat lady wants to see you. Come and say hi to her. I mean, you kind of answered my next question.
Sorry.
Because
you know,
I like to ask these sort of questions, like, because it's for the end of this year. Because we are in September, I'm going to say for the end of next year instead. So, what is your goal to accomplish by the end of next year?
So, well, it's hard to say, really. I would that's not even a word. I would really like to be in a position where when people are booking a Pink tribute, I am one of the names that comes up. I think that's, you know, I don't expect massive things. I'm very much a goal setter, so for this year it was a case of I wanted to make sure that I had dances. I mean, if I take you back to February, in February it was me, a really bad wig, and a couple of roller banners. That was my show in February this year. 6 months down the line, I now have nearly 7 or 8. There's other 7 or 8 girls. I'm not totally sure. I can't remember. We've just hired another couple. Dancers that are on board. We have theatre shows booked in for next year. Pride festivals, tribute festivals.
Wow.
There is so much coming in for next year. I can't actually keep up with it. Overseas work, celebrity work that, you know, working for on a private basis and stuff like that. It's gone a bit crazy. So if you'd have asked me in February or March what my plan is for next September, I'd have probably reeled off all the stuff that is already happening. It's a bit like pushing a snowball off a hill, and now I'm just chasing it. It's definitely built a lot quicker than I anticipated. But yeah, I think just by next September it would be great for people to go, we're putting together a festival. Oh, I wonder if Calli's free. That would be really nice to be one of the names.
Being one of the first names on the list.
Yeah, or at least just a name. Because at the moment it's very much me approaching people and saying, I have this product that I really believe in, and I really think, you know, we're developing something quite high end. Are you interested? It would be really nice for people to know that product exists by this time next year, and be a thought in somebody's, you know, process for when they're putting together a theatre show or a festival. Or I think that there's definitely within the Pink tribute, there's a couple of names that would always be out there first, and they're people that have been doing this 10 years plus. You know, they're well established and they're hundreds of dates under their belt. And are doing a phenomenal job at what they do. Yeah, it would just be really nice to be one of those names that people consider, you know. So I don't think it's a big ask, but it's definitely down to how much work you put in as to whether that happens or not. So
you stated that, you know, before being a Pink tribute, you were just an artist as a whole, and you been in the industry for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
What was it that gravitated you towards performing on stage? You know, what was it that really, you know, said, you know what, that's my style. That's what I want to do. I want to perform on stage. I want to sing. I want people to hear what I've got. You know, I want people to hear what I've got to say. I want to hear what, you know. I want them to hear my sound, my music. What was it that really gravitated you towards all that?
I think if you asked my siblings, they would probably say I was just a show off from the day I was born.
Hey,
Look at me! I've learnt a new dance. Look at this.
You just
Yeah, I started as a dancer. That was my that was what I wanted to do. That was my passion. So
Oh, wow.
from the age of 3, I started training with one of the Strictly judges. He's no longer with us, bless him. Len Goodman was my dance teacher. So that was kind of always in the back of my mind what I wanted to do. I just wasn't that great. So I went to stage school in my teens and very quickly kind of realised that singing was my forte. I was a singer that could dance, not a dancer that could sing. But my dad was in bands my whole life, so I always used to kind of go along and sit on the side of the stage, kind of lovingly looking, you know, and watching what he was doing. So it's always definitely been something that I grew up around and was part of my world. But I think I had my son, and I think after that I was approached to join a kind of indie rock band, which I did for 16 years, and that was my love. That was kind of, it was all covers, but it was covers of music that I was really into, you know. So we did some Pink, not a lot, but we did a few, sort of Alanis Morissette, Skunk and Nancy, just women that, you know, had a bit about them, I guess. As well as your kind of standard rock covers, your Hendrix and your The Who and all of this sort of music. So that was kind of what solidified the fact that, yeah, this is what I do well. And it's generally covers that I enjoy most, because I think other people can write how I feel better than I can. I always said if I did an album, I mean, there is stuff on Spotify and stuff, but if I did an album, it would come with a free razor blade, because I'm not the cheeriest of people when it comes to writing my own stuff. So let's focus on performing other people's stuff.
I did not expect that response. I did not say.
Expect the unexpected. There you go.
Yes, yeah.
Maybe that's the title for the album. Who knows?
It's Jesus Christ.
Took a turn, didn't it? Sorry.
That took a turn. I'm just like, and then I heard a razor blade. I was like, oh, wait, what? Where'd that come from? I was like, that came completely left field. I was like, did I just hear that right? I'm like, it was all nice and good, and all of a sudden I heard razor blade. I was like, oh, hey, crazy cat lady, calm down. I was like,
in all fairness, you know, I think it's everybody. People say to me all the time, you know, do you not write your own stuff? And yeah, I have. I've done it. You know, I've done all that. But you have to know what your strength is, and my strength is performing covers. You know, that's what I do well. So there's just no point pushing something that people think if you're a singer you should write your own songs, and it's like a lot of them don't, and most of them don't. In all fairness,
a lot of that is they can write to some degree, but they happen to have a lot of other writers that actually write for them. You know, I mean, I myself have written. I've written a handful of songs, and I've probably got about 15 songs that I've wrote myself, and. So when it comes to, just music as a whole, as you said, you're on about the likes of Hendrix, or Hendrick and the Who and whatnot, and of course Pink. But throughout your youth, what artists truly spoke to you?
I think I was quite an old soul, so anyone who sang with passion was somebody that got my attention. So the likes of Janice Joplin would be up there. People like, I mean, Roger Daltrey from The Who, post Tommy, funnily enough, I think he found his voice after Tommy. People like that really inspire me, where, you can sit and listen and they're almost, you can feel their pain or their happiness, or, they're conveying an emotion. So I definitely love artists like that. But then on the complete flip side, I adore people like Michael Jackson, who are not, not just from the talent perspective, the writing and the dancing and the singing and all that, but just such perfectionists in their craft, and, just completely absorb themselves and make sure everything is exactly as it should be. I'm really inspired by people that are that passionate about what they create. So I listened to a lot of Michael Jackson growing up. And actually, you mentioned Bruno Mars earlier. I think his sort of take, he's kind of the next generation of that, where it's...
Yes, I don't like it when people go, "Oh, he'll never be MJ" or whatnot, and I'm like, people aren't saying that he's going to be.
He's not trying to be, yeah.
He's not trying to be MJ. All people have stated that he's the closest thing that we've had to the likes of an MJ and a Prince, etc. Because there's nobody else that does music like Bruno now, or like MJ and Prince did. Nobody does that sort of music anymore. Bruno does it like, it's second nature. Like, he could write a song that's perfect for the 70s, like at the back, like he knows the back of his own hand, and he can release it and it's a hit single, because that's how talented Bruno is as a songwriter, and not just as a vocalist. When it comes to a vocalist, I love Chester Bennington. When it came to a vocalist, I thought Chester was something different. You felt the pain in his voice. You could hear, the talent was there. It was just rawness. And you're like, and then of course, when he suddenly passed, it rocked a generation. It rocked a generation, was Chester's passing, because Linkin Park, very beloved band, and congratulations to the new vocalist that they do have, which are all the best. I don't like it that some of the Linkin Park fans have been trying to say whatnot. I'm like, she's not trying to be Chester. She's showing homage, of course, because Chester.
It was a really smart move to use a woman, if I'm honest, because if they'd have put a man in that spot, it would always have been a comparison to Chester.
Absolutely, but that's when I went. She's not trying to be Chester. She's going to do it her way, but still show homage. And that's the way you do it, is you show homage, but you do it your way.
Yeah.
And she's just sort of picking up the mantle and going, "Don't worry, I've got this." And, I've heard her sing, and she's absolutely gifted. She's beautiful, beautiful talent, absolutely fantastic voice. They're gonna smash it. I think, the next album or the next piece of work that they bring out, everybody's gonna listen. When it comes to, as you said, with different artists, it's very, very difficult. I mean, it's very difficult for a lot of people to talk about their struggles and whatnot. But when it comes to, myself, I listen to a lot of Ed Sheeran, listen to a lot of, Linkin Park, Panic at the Disco, etc. And when I listen to those types of songs and the songs that they released sort of like earlier on in their career, you realise that they went through quite a lot. They went through quite a lot, and they told you, the things that they had been through, their lyrics and their songs. And it's been a long time since I've heard music like that. You don't really hear music like that much anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think what I do miss.
You listen to music differently as well. I think, certainly growing up, I had artists that I would listen to from a vocal perspective. So the likes of Ella Fitzgerald, Nina Simone, real vocalists, as you said earlier, from the, the kind of jazz and swing, that sort of stuff. I definitely listen to from a vocalist perspective, to try and become better and craft, my talent at the time. I don't know. So that's what you. I love a quote.
I love the quote.
So I would listen to their. I would
I've
listen
heard you
to their.
sing, so I don't know where this is coming from. I've heard you sing. I
It's
don't know what this
subjective,
is.
isn't it? It's
She's that crazy
subjective.
cat lady, razor blades, and I think I can sing.
Is that what we're going to take away from this? I love it. But yeah, so I would listen to them from a vocal perspective, but I would listen to people, Joe Cocker, from a delivery perspective, from somebody who can tell a story and make me feel it. That's a way of being an artist. And I think when you sort of pigeonhole what you like, you're shutting yourself off to all that sort of thing. It's like, yes, I appreciate that person because they're a phenomenal singer and their vocal control. People like, I don't know, Whitney and Celine Dion and all the
Oh,
big
Whitney.
divas that as a vocalist you will grow up listening to because that's what you're aspiring to be. I put Adele in that category now.
Absolutely. She is.
You listen to those for vocal
Oh, wow.
excellence. That's what you go for. You don't necessarily listen to Roger Daltrey of The Who for vocal excellence, but you listen to him because he will tell you a story and make you feel something from it. So I think they're very different things. And then you go right down the middle and you go to somebody like Bruno Mars, who, again, great singer, great performer, but they're not the things I'm looking for. I'm looking because he makes me feel great. Listening to his music makes me smile and it makes me
Yeah.
happy. And,
I think it's because he's got that sort of vibe to him that you knew that he grew up listening to the music that he's releasing. He
yeah,
listened to Motown. He listened to the 70s, 80s, 90s Motown, like hip hop, R&B. He grew up listening to that music, and you can tell when when he sings those songs, and they are in the style and genre, of those same songs that he listened to growing up, and you're like, but why is it that he's just so good at it? Like that's the
why are
thing.
you so good? How dare
That's
you?
like that's what I'd probably say to Bruno if I ever met him in person. Like, why are you just so damn good? Because every time you release a song, it's just a hit. Like, I don't know what it is. He's literally, and I said that, like, he's literally like an MJ and a Prince. Because whenever they released a song, this. But when it comes to just favorite music as a whole, what was your favorite song from your favorite artist?
Oh, that's like choosing between your children. You
That's
can't.
like it's like Sophie's Choice.
Oh, it just depends what mood you're in, doesn't it? I think, you know, I honestly, it's such a hard question. I think a song I never get sick of. Well, I keep going back to The Who. It's strange that I didn't realise I was such a fan. Is
Probably because
Love
you've
Ruin
got
Over
so many
Me.
memories of being with with your father, and you
Yeah,
would listen to a lot of the Who probably because
yeah,
your father was probably quite would listen to the Who quite often, so it'll probably stay with you. Like I say with me, with MJ, my mum was a massive MJ fan, so of course I became an MJ fan as I grew up because it was always It was always played in the house. His music was always played, whether it was the Jackson Five or whether it was his solo stuff. His
yeah.
music was always played in the house because my mum was a big fan of his. So that's how
Yeah,
I
you're
became
a
a fan.
product
So I
of
can
what you grew
understand
up
how you
around.
became a fan of the Who.
Yeah, yeah. So I think probably "Love Reign Over Me" by The Who is a track that I don't ever tire of listening to, and I think just from a musical genius perspective, it's probably up there. Townsend is a genius, and Daltrey delivers it perfectly. So yeah, I think that's one of my top tracks. She
Wow.
said
I,
today. If you
I
ask me tomorrow, I'll say you something different.
because I think for myself like a favorite song, especially if we go back to like what 70s or 80s, you know I would probably say Beatles is up there for me as well. I could go back and listen to the Beatles just so easily. Especially if I'm at home, I can just sit back, relax, and listen to them. I just have their songs on repeat, and just have have it on shuffle, and just have fun play.
There's a reason these people are all, icons, isn't it, really?
Yes, of
There's a
course.
difference between being an artist and an icon, and, you know, the formula is clearly correct if they're the ones you go back to time and time
Yeah,
again.
you just can't seem to help it because you don't get a lot of that nowadays. It's just a bunch of people. They've got some guitars, a couple of other instruments, and they've got the voices, and just let it do the talking. And then they've got either Paul or whoever else, whichever one wrote the song. They just go, "There's the song, release it. Record it, bring it out, hit."
Yeah.
Because
It's very hard now to come up with something that hasn't been done before, though, isn't it?
it is very difficult because everybody's pretty much done the same thing. But I think it's all about genuinity, and a little bit of individualness. Like, can you separate yourself from the other people that sound exactly the same or have that a very similar vibe or the same genre as yourself, or they have the same look and vibe as you? Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. People buy people, don't they? And I think, from everything that I've ever seen of Buble, he just comes across so well and such a genuine guy. And I think
Yeah.
you can't help but like him as a person. So therefore, you want to support him as an artist. And I think that's really important in this industry is being an individual as a person as well as an individual as an artist. So if you can get that support behind you as a person, it kind of carries through into your industry as well. So yeah, I think people like Buble, they've got that down. You like them, you can't help but like them.
Yeah.
He's just a decent guy, and very funny, as you said. He's my husband's man crush, actually.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Your husband's got good taste. And so now we've come to the final question.
Okay,
We're
hit
finally
me.
at the final question. Hit me, baby, one more time. So, are you looking forward to the event?
Of course I am. I can't wait. I mean, it felt like so long ago when it first got booked, but it's literally
It
like,
was a long time ago because I remember when I got told.
yeah, we're now like nearly the end of September. So yeah, I
I
think
think it was
Christmas is
like
calling, isn't it?
towards
Which
the
is,
end of last year I got told that this event was either in the works, and then I
yeah,
think it got confirmed in January or February. Because
yeah, so,
I remember Ed told me because apparently yourself and a couple of and the others tributes were releasing the posters
yes,
already, and I went, already? It's only February. What are you doing? Oh, we're releasing the
absolutely.
posters
So,
because I think
yeah,
Ed sent me one of the posts that yourself or one of the others had posted. I was like, it's about 10 months away. What on earth is going on? Are they that blinking excited? And then that's when Ed was like, they are actually genuinely excited. I was like,
yeah,
no.
it should be
I
such
was
a
like,
good
blimey. I
event.
was like, Jesus. I tell you what, they work fast. I was like,
No,
because they got a poster done lickety split. I was like, blimey, what the hell?
it's always a pleasure to do a new venue. It's always a pleasure. But I think Eddie's enthusiasm for it is infectious. And
Yeah.
and I think he is what sells the event for me. Like, knowing how excited he is just kind of builds that with you. So yeah, it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be such a great night. I think the fact that we've got an all girl lineup is really cool. I'm really looking forward to that. And the other two girls are phenomenal. So we've got Katy Perry, Pink, and Dua Lipa on the night, and
Yes.
the other girls I know. I've seen their acts.
I've
They're
been looking forward to being able to have a sit down with them very soon as
yeah,
well, because
absolutely.
like I said, like yourself, they themselves have also been rather busy, and so I'm
it's it's tribute
like
season at the moment.
I've got to get the interviews done, girls. Like, come on, please help me
Yeah,
out. It's right,
it's
meet me
festive
halfway. I'll meet
season.
you
We're
halfway
back.
if you can meet me halfway. Um,
But yeah, it's yeah, it'd be great fun. Honestly, I'm very very excited for it, and just excited to get up north. It's lovely up there. The
a
people
lot.
are lovely. The place is lovely. It's a far cry down south. It's not. It's weird. There's definitely a lot more of a tribute scene the further north you go. We have some
Yeah.
festivals and stuff like that down here, which is great. But in terms of venues, there definitely seems to be more sort of in the upper half of the country. So I love
I
like
think that's because the further north you go up, the less sort of like venues you have that fits tens of thousands of people.
yeah,
That the less that will fit tens of thousands. It'll fit probably close to a couple thousand at least, or around like say maybe 5,000. But the further north you go up, the smaller the venues are. I would say. They're a bit more compact, a little bit more, you know, close. You know, you literally, you could be front row, and the act is literally about 10 yards away from you. You could just reach out, probably touch them. That's probably the big difference.
Yeah.
Is that because, you know, here in Barrow, you know, we have got, you know, as you know, Cloud Nine, the Lounge, one of the biggest venues, if not the biggest venue that we have in Barrow. I think it fits somewhere between 500, and it's a really nice venue. It's a very nice venue. The layout's great. You know, you've got a bar to the side, stage there, got a balcony as well. If need be, probably will be for Christmas, because we always do very well for our Christmas shows, because everybody wants to get out for Christmas. They've probably got work dues, etc., and it's Christmas time, so everybody has that excuse going, should I drink 3 days in a row? Sod it, it's Christmas.
Absolutely, I should. Yeah.
Like, and I'm pretty damn certain everybody else is doing that already, even though it's blinking September.
Yeah, it's all right.
My goodness. But again, Calli, thank you so much for, you know, being able to, you know, spend some time out of your very busy schedule to come and have a chat with me today.
I mean, I'm on stage in 40 minutes, so
wow. So I will
that busy.
I will let you go very shortly. Ladies and gents, this is none of it then, Calli Maples. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you ever so much for taking the time at your very busy schedule and having an amazing performance tonight. You know, break a leg, as we like to say. It's going to be absolutely amazing to have you with us. We have got an incredible show just before you will see Calli here and our other guests or our other acts. We have Roy Chubby Brown, coming to Barrow a couple days just before the girls come to town. December 5th, only 100 tickets remain for the Chubby Brown show. So if you want to get a ticket, you want to go and watch Chubby, get them as soon as possible, because once they're gone, they're gone. There's not going to be any on the door. I will probably have a competition for 2 free tickets, possibly, but no promises just yet. So if you want a ticket to go and watch Chubby, get your tickets. And also, if you would love to see Calli and our other amazing guests who I should be chatting very, very soon, make sure you get your tickets, because it's going to be absolutely amazing. So, Calli, again, thank you ever so much. I'll let you get yourself off and, you know, get ready and everything. Thank you ever so much again. And have an amazing show.
I will see you in December.
I will see you in December as well. I look forward to it.
Thanks so much.
No
Take
problem.
care.
Thank you ever so much. Ladies and gents, that is the Just Mo show for today. Thank you ever so much. Thank you to my guest, Calli, and we'll see you next time, and we'll see you all for December time, this Christmas. See you all soon. God bless, and take care. Alright folks, that's it for tonight. Thank you all ever so much for watching. Please crush subscribe with the bell and join us here and join the show, and also crush the like button too. It would mean the world to me. Thank you ever so much. Massive shout out and thank you yet again to Calli. Thank you ever so much for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to be able to do this exclusive interview with me. If you would like to see more of Calli, you can see her on December 7th here in Barrow Furnace at the Cloud Nine and the Lounge. Get ready this Christmas to raise a glass and act like a rock star. That's going to be it for me for tonight, ladies and gents. I'll see you all next time for the next interview. Good night, God bless, take care.